What's going on? Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. I'm off to work. What are you doing? So, I was making bread last night, cleaning the kitchen, doing all my normal stuff, and I came across an article about yet another company potentially being hacked. Potentially some other cybersecurity event that happened. It wasn't a cell phone company. It wasn't a pipeline. It wasn't the grid per se, but it was McDonald's. That's right. All across the world, McDonald's are experiencing some kind of IT event that happened. They claim it wasn't a cyber hack or it wasn't, hackers or anything. But just like every other company, they don't want to admit, yeah, we were hacked or something. Is this just yet another test to see how people will react? Or is it something more? With everything going on in the world right now, everything, all the bad, negative, evil, crazy stuff, the news wants to focus on, oh my God, McDonald's has closed down. What do we do? The world's going to end. You shouldn't be eating McDonald's anyway. How many people get up and eat McDonald's for breakfast? I get really, really sick, and I break out really bad when I eat McDonald's. I don't know about you, but every time I eat there, I feel like shit. I feel terrible. I feel emotionally terrible because how could I do that to my body? And then my body itself just feels straight up like shit. McDonald's being taken down for a day or two is not the end of the world, people. But our priorities are so screwed up in this country that we're more worried about McDonald's being closed down than what's actually the pressing issues in this country. But on the other hand, it's still a good idea to keep an eye on it, even if you don't eat there, just because it's just yet another indicator of what is happening in the country. Except this time, it's all around the world. Cell phones being shut down, food being shut down. And what are we doing? We're watching the news saying, oh my God, that's crazy. Instead of worrying about McDonald's being shut down, why don't you go outside and learn to grow your own food? Why don't you go to the store today, right now, turn this video off, and go buy some seeds? There's a company that I use online, True Leaf Market, and you can buy big ass bags there, like 2-pound bags of seeds. Because I used to do microgreens, but they have all kinds of seeds, and you get a lot more for the $2. You go to Lowe's and spend $2, $3 on a little packet of seeds. You can spend $25 and you'll get a couple pounds of seeds. And their germination rate's pretty damn good. But I've used them quite a few times, and I've never had a problem with them. Or you can go to any store. You can go to the dollar store and spend 25 cents on a pack. Go to Lowe's, go to Walmart. You can use the seeds left over from what you ate. You can regrow stuff like that. Try to find an heirloom. GMO, after a certain couple regrows, it will, the heirloom will be more true to uh, what it actually is. But learn to grow your own food. Don't worry that McDonald's got hacked and shut down. Count it as a blessing. Count McDonald's going down as a win for your health. Be aware of it. Understand that it's a possibility that it's some kind of cyber threat and it was some kind of hack, potentially. It could have been. I think it might have been. I think it might have just been a test. Whether that was a intentional hack just to see how people will react. You got to understand what's going on, what has been going on over the last couple of years is all a test. Whether it's real or not, whether it was a real adversary shutting them down, whether it was Burger King on the offensive shutting down the competition or not, or it was some rogue dude in Russia or Iran that hacked the system. Or maybe it was a CIA operation to see how people would react. Just like all this other stuff, just like 2020 was a huge test. Every time there is an event that happens on the planet, it is always a test. Who was that guy that said that? Never let a bad situation go to waste. I can't remember who said that. But whether it was the big cabal doing something, or it was some lone wolf that was doing the attacks, it's always a test. They always get something out of it. Oh no, this is really bad, but secretly they're in the back saying, oh yeah, cool, let's get some info from this. Every single time something bad happens in this country, or the whole world, it is one big test. I was going through some books the other day, and I found, so my grandma passed away a month or so ago, and I'm helping my mom clean her house out, and she used to work at a book printing place, and so she got books all the time. That's where I got all my Foxfire books, and she got one. She was big into books, obviously. That's what she did for 20, 30 years. But I found the manifesto, the Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx. And I've always heard about it, but I've never read it. And I was skimming through the pages, and I read the list of what needs to happen in a country in order for them to control it. You can find the Communist Manifesto online. Read that. Read the words in that little book and tell me that's not happening right now in the world, not just America. Tell me that our borders aren't being eroded, our families are being wiped away. The idea of oneself, personal self, isn't being taken away. Tell me that's not happening all across the world. How one world government isn't happening, or a state centralized currency isn't being brought into market. Tell me how none of that's happening right now, and how you have your head so far shoved up your ass you can't see what's going on. McDonald's, oh my God, they lost a couple $1 million over the last day or so for some outage. Who cares? You shouldn't care anyway. You shouldn't be eating there. You should keep an eye on it. You should say, hey, that's a point that's going on. I'll keep it in the back of my head, and that's it. Just another reminder that our food is being attacked. It's not the good food. but nonetheless, it's still food that's being attacked. Not to mention all the other food companies that have been hacked, or they had to call millions of animals the last couple years because of avian flu or whatever, some kind of other flu, some kind of mad cow disease. All the cows in Texas that have died, all these wildfires. And that is just the food sector. All the recalls. Food, every single day you can read about something in the news about the food being attacked. You can take that however you want. I see it as just another reason to grow some food, to figure out how to have more livestock, how to produce your own edible nutrition. You can have rabbits if you have an apartment. You can have chickens if you have a small yard. You can grow in buckets. You can grow fish in a tank. If you have a huge yard, if you have a lot of land, you can do whatever you want for food there. But people aren't willing to put in the work for what they need. They'd rather go online and buy preparedness food, which is a good backup. But once that runs out, then what? What happens when all your preparations go away? When you eat your last MRE, what's going to happen? Think about our food. Think about your family's food situation right now. Do you really want to be feeding your kids McDonald's? Or do you want to teach them how to grow their own food instead of saying themselves? Let's get back into learning how to grow stuff. All kinds of food at your fingertips that you can grow, that you can learn how to can, that you can learn how to preserve. But we don't. This goes back into another issue that I talked about before about laziness. People aren't willing to put in the work because it's more convenient to go to McDonald's or Burger King or Wendy's or wherever else, wait in line for 10 minutes, get cold ass fries and a disgusting burger just for them to mess your order up, than it is to go and prepare a meal and wash all the food, prep all the food, cook all the food, clean all the dishes. That's so much more work for people. That's so freaking hard for people. You're not going to make it when the world collapses. If you're too damn lazy to wash your dishes and cook your own food, how do you think you're going to survive when there is no food to be bought? People's mindset, their mentality is not right now in the world. We are meant to grow our own food. We are meant to have local food. That's why all these stomach problems and diseases are going around that have been on the rise for the last 30 years because all of this processed nasty shit, processed ham, hot dogs, weird pudding made nuggets. That's why we have all these diseases. Is our lifestyle and our health, our food. What they sell in the stores now, 80% of it is not food. It is cardboard with sugar sprinkled on top. Literally, that's what it is. It's plant fibers, corn syrup, and 30 other ingredients that you can't even read. I know this, anything that has a word on it that you can't pronounce, I wouldn't eat it. Just like candles. Any words that you can't pronounce, I wouldn't use them. Any kind of sprays and smelly goods, I wouldn't use them. just because of that shit is in the air. Just like soap. That's why I make my own soap, because I don't put anything in it. I don't put perfumes in it or anything. Some of them I use bacon grease, some of them I use olive oil, and then I put other kind of natural oils in them, and I put essential oils in them, and I put oats in them, and I put honey in them. I put 100% natural ingredients in all of my soaps just because. So I stopped using the stuff. My wife used to buy me something for years, and then I started making my own soap. My skin started to feel good. My hair started to feel really good. I just felt cleaner. Ironically, rubbing bacon grease on me, I mean, it was turned into soap, but you get the point. I don't use any kind of fragrance, any of that shit, because your body absorbs everything that you put on your body, whether it is soap or food. Your body absorbs all of that nasty shit, and it does so much damage to you. McDonald's is one of the worst things that you can put in your body, and they got hacked, or they got, taken down for a day or two. Good. Let it just be a reminder to grow some food. Let it be a reminder to get away from the system that we're in. Get away from all of that shit anyway. We got to start learning how to fend for ourselves, if that's a good way to say it. Learn to make your own food. Buy local from a butcher or a farmer that has all natural food. Oh my God, organic and all natural, it's so much more expensive. Not in the long run, it really isn't. If you've ever eaten grass-fed food, beef, cattle, all natural organic food, you stay fuller longer, you feel better mentally, you have more focus in life. That's why when you eat all this nasty junk and all these chemicals and all these red dye and blue dye and all that, those things are linked to so many diseases. Like Doritos and red dye, that's linked. Red dye is linked to bad behavior in children, and not listening, and ADHD, and anger. That shit warps our mind so bad, and it clouds us to where we can't think right. That's why everybody's crazy in the world now. That's why nobody has any empathy or sympathy, because of our health. All of these problems in the world, 80% of the problems in the world, are caused by our health. But we are too lazy to do anything about it. Don't be that lazy person. Learn to manage your health. Learn to manage what you put in your body, what you put on your body. Until then, keep on whatever you're doing to make your life better. As for me, I am at work now, and I have a 12-hour day probably, because it is Saturday. And nobody wants to work on Saturdays, so what do? They overload everybody else. Anyway, y'all have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you later.